All right, I'm back. So we got the blades out of the box and into the floor. We lifted them up by hand. Took a little effort, but we got it. Definitely two people. I also figured out what those pins were for. The pins are for the actuator ends, along with the actuator ends, and they go into the plow. But the other piece where I was wondering what was going on was actually the pivot point. And there was a bracket, and you can see the pivot point right. Let's see where. Yep, right there. That bracket is for shipping that was there. And you have to remove the bracket, pop the pin, remove the bracket, and then you got to lift all that stuff up, line everything up. And then in the instructions, it talks about the height of the truck and what place you put in. But I went ahead and put it in the middle one because they basically said stick it in the middle, you can do it later and make the adjustment later. So now with that, and I apologize yesterday that the camera was up and down. I didn't realize that was going to be an issue until I tested some video upload. But I'm going to work on the wiring harness and the plow mounts when I can, because it's a pretty warm day and I got a little help. I'll be removing the front receiver, and then this is the harness. So I'm not going to film tilling all this stuff out because it's pretty easy, and I'll come back later when I get to a stopping point, and you can see, because I think if you are going to put a plow on a truck, you should be mechanically inclined to know how to take things in and out. So I will be back. Thank you. See. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back. Got busy yesterday. Didn't get a chance to film much, but you didn't miss a whole lot other than routing, pulling wires, and I installed the mounts on the front of my truck, which I'll go out and show you. You are able to use your tow hooks, but you need to get longer bolts, because the bolts that come in with the kit are bigger in diameter than the one for your tow hooks. And the ones with the tow hooks are too short. So you can do it. I only got one in because I didn't have the right length bolts. So I only got one tow hook on right now, but I figure I could do it later. It does make it a lot easier if you pull the valance, the bottom valance. You don't have to pull the bumper, but if you pull the bottom valance, they're just little plastic clips. Get them at Napa. But as you can see, we got the plow taken off, the blades themselves off the truck and into the garage. And then the pin that I was talking about earlier, well, I wasn't sure where it went. Well, they're called the pivot pin. And it goes right across there. There's a metal plate for shipping that you got to pop the pin out, pull the plate apart, which separates this part of the plow and this part of the plow. It'll separate the two, and then you just kind of support this, lift this up, stick it in there. I put it in the second hole like the instructions said, and then but you can adjust it once it gets on the truck, which I probably will be here shortly, because it turned out really cold today. It's like -10, or actually it's like negative in the single digits right now. I don't think it's going to warm up, so I can't work in the garage and leave the door open because of the heat, and it gets cold. But the wiring is pretty simple. It's just plug and play. You do have to cut your turn signal and your parking lights and a daytime running light if you want. You're going to have to cut and splice into those. But as if anybody has these GM trucks, know that the daylight running lights don't work very well. I need new sockets for mine. They're all melted. But I don't think I'm going to run the daytime running lights. It's just not necessary up here, I don't think. So I probably won't run them. But I'm going to go and get that taken care of. It was a cold, chilly night, like I said. My plan today is I've got to put that together and finish the truck putting it together. Like I said, I'll quickly show you some stuff out there in the cold before we leave. And get back here, move these where the four-wheeler is now, and try to get the wings and the blades onto the head. And my plan is to put them just like they are, position them like they're supposed to, push this into place, drop the pin. I hope it goes that quick. But maybe I'll record it, maybe I won't. If I have to, I can use the winch to lift up the blade and position them. So we'll have to wait and see. But like I said, that's my plan. I don't know if I'm going to need any help or not doing it. My kid is working today, I think. I think he's scheduled to work today, so he can't come over and help me. He did a lot of work with me yesterday. And then after all that's done with, I've got to go and clean off another driveway at the house that we're currently paying rent on. So, but we're doing a final walkthrough on that house, so we don't have to worry about it. But I still got to clear the snow before tomorrow. That's the project I got going on today. So let's head outside real quick while the truck's warming up, and go and show you what I did yesterday. Okay, I'm back. So as you can tell, I took off the grill, the headlights, parking lights, and the rear valance. Like I said, I ran some wires up through this hole here. I'm going to zip tie everything together. These are the connectors. They're in line, so you connect colors to colors. They're all matched. They're all labeled too. They did really good. I mounted the control box right there. We'll see how that rides. Doesn't seem to hit the hood any. Then, like I said, you can get your tow hooks in there. You just got to use longer bolts. I opted to put washers on the left side to keep that bracket from being squished. It said that in the instructions, so not too concerned. I measured the distance between, like the instructions said, came out to about 30.5 inches, just like it sets. And you got a plus or minus an 1/8 inch gap, so it's within the gap. They're pretty heavy and stout. They're mounted with the two at the front across here. There's one in the back where the tow hook would mount, and then there's another one further back. You may have to trim your splash guard that's up underneath. I didn't have to. I just kind of pulled it out of the way. You can see how it's kind of bent a little bit, but trimming it up isn't going to be that hard. I just left it like it is. Seemed to work. So I figured I'd just bear the cold. I was using my buddy heater to keep me kind of warm, but it ran out of fuel. So got the lights all working, I believe. I haven't hooked it up to the plow to check it, but when I turn my headlights on, the lows come on, the high comes on, the blinkers work. So I've got one more wire bundle to route, and that is the one that goes into the truck. And that's the only one I got left. But in theory, I probably could hook this up, hook the plow up to it, run it up and down, make sure everything works. But I'll wait until I get the harness in and make it work. Now, I just, that's going to be the next step. But the wiring is pretty easy. It's just a matter of routing it to where you want it and where you prefer. The zip ties they gave me, when they're cold, they're brittle. So if you live in a cold climate, I suggest probably buying some better ones. So we'll see how those work that I put on earlier. So I just used tape. So I hung out what I thought I needed out the front of the truck. I may have to pull out more, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I don't remember reading anywhere that says how far to put it out, but that's what I did. I also have on the front of my truck, which you can't see right now, is I've hooked up another connector type, so I can hook a jumper cable to it. And then the jumper cable's got a switch. If you look right there, a little keyed switch that I got on it that I could turn it on and off. And then that way I don't have to go in that mess to hook the jumper cables up just to jump somebody. It seems to work. I've used it. So I'll have to find a way to attach that to the bumper somehow. Like I said, the valance I'm going to have to fix. There's some tears on it. I have to trim it before I stick it back on there. But I'm going to wait for a warmer day. I think I can drive around looking like that for a while. But as you can see, I got it all hooked up. So far, so good. It's been pretty easy. I picked it up Friday night. Picked up the head unit Friday night. Played around with it. Got the lights on it. Saturday, hooked up stuff. Yesterday, went and got the plow blades and hooked up the mounts and ran the wires and did all that. And that didn't take long, but it's not a long mess. The company I bought it off of wanted $1,000 from me to install it. I said, to hell with that shit. I got better things to do for $1,000 that I can do it. So far, so good. Now, with the lights, if you hook everything up and your one headlight don't work, all you got to do is take one of the connectors, the long ones that plug into the vehicle harness, is flip it, and then it'll work. I guess they did that for the different vehicles. I'm not real positive, but all you got to do is flip it and it'll work. I ended up doing the headlight, and the rest I got lucky. But as you can see, everything is working. I'm going to put my grill on and probably back the truck out, let it warm up in here, and then kind of look at this other harness and figure out what I got to do next. So, like I said, it's not a hard task. The hardest part so far, if I had to guess, was moving the plow around and putting it together itself. If you're not good at electrical wire, just find a friend that is. All you got to do is just trim some wire off of the right wire coming off a turn signal in the parking brakes, and wrap the wire, solder it, tape it all up. They give you some heat shrink, but I just used the solder. I'm not going to. But other than that, once I get the grill back on and everything kind of warmed up, maybe I'll get some stuff moved around and I'll bring you back. Okay, guys. Sorry I didn't get to it. Putting it together was a bit of a pain in the ass. But it's all together. I have not hooked it up to the truck yet. Getting that pin in was not as bad as I thought it would be. And what I did was first laid it out straight, and then I realized, well, wait a minute, if I lay it put the V in, and then I was able to manipulate and move it and everything else. So I got the top adjusted, and then the plow wouldn't move over and center up. But you got to make sure that this is in between these shoes, or take the shoe off, or take the scrapers off. I ended up taking this side off, fell right in. But she's together. I just got a couple of cotter keys to bend and put her on the truck, and then bleed the system. The only thing left on the truck I got is the controller accessory wire. So that's pretty easy. I've got a place to put the controller in the truck, hook it up, bleed it, and then that should be good to go. I've got the chains adjusted right there, as you can see. And what I did was that with the way the plow is sitting right now, I just tightened the chain up so as tight as it'll go. I can fix that later. The other thing I got left to do is put the cotter key or the roll pin into the feed here. But I can't do that until I get it on the truck to know how high I need to go with the feet or how low or whatever it happens to be. But she is heavy. I did put these on by myself, manhandling it. I ended up taking a bottle jack and putting it on the end and raising it up and down as I needed to line the pin up. And the same thing over here. Once I did that, the pin went down in it. It wasn't a smooth end, but it's there. This went on pretty easy, this flector, but it doesn't go all the way down here and stop the pin. So I'm not sure if I'm missing something, which I don't think I am, or is it going to move it? So I don't know. But like I said, she's together. I'm going to pull the truck in. Well, I'm going to go out and connect that wire. I got to go to Napa first to get some RTV and some other stuff. And then when I get back, I'll connect that wire, zip tie everything up inside the truck, nice and neat, mount the controller, and then stick it on and see what we got. Like I said, I watched Mossman 381 is his name. I watched his videos on how he installed them on his truck. Learned a lot with him. I looked online. I read through the instructions before while I was waiting on the plow. It took about 2.5 months to get the plow ordered at late January. Got it early, about 2 months. Took about 2 months to get up here. So, like I said, it comes in 2 crates and a few boxes. But I have no extra parts that I'm unaware of. The only extra parts I have is the bolts, but I'm going to not use, eventually put my other tow hook. And that's the other thing I got to go get is some longer bolts for the tow hook. So I think I'm going to wrap it up. Probably the next time you come on, or maybe another video, I don't know yet. We will have it on the truck and I'll go through bleeding it and what I did with bleeding it. But I had all kinds of questions waiting on this plow and how it was going to come get it, how was it going to get it, how it was going to come here. Will I need a trailer? Will I need to get it delivered? Is it worth somebody putting together? All those questions. So this is an 8.5 foot. So I'm imagining the other ones, the V-Plows, should not come in much of a bigger crate than what we already have. So they should fit in the back of a pickup bed. When they put them in, they lay them down the long side of the pallet right over here. So if you had anything longer, it would hang over the pallet. So, but it does fit in your back of your pickup just fine. Both pieces. You could actually put both crates in a truck with an 8-foot bed if you had to. Getting them out, you would need a forklift or something, or you could just manhandle it like we did. You can do either one, or get a hoist and lift them out. It's up to you and how you figure it out. 2 people, it is definitely a 2-person job. I did it with 1.5. I'm not gonna lie. My kid he was helping me doing a lot of stuff, but he had other things on his mind, I guess. But he did help me out. But like I said, it is definitely at least a 2-person job, but 1 person can do it if they want to. 2 people putting the plow together would be helpful, or putting the blades on. would be very helpful, but I did it with a little bit of looking and figuring out what it needed to do and how I needed it and which I could do, like raising this up. And so you can see underneath the plow how it's not perfectly straight with my garage floor. So that's probably a little bit with it. Be cautious when you get it. They have these zip tied and they don't have the cutter key in. So if you accidentally hit this pin right here will come shooting straight up. I found out the hard way. Luckily, it didn't hit me in the face or the head. It just shot up. Put it back together. No big deal. Like I said, I got to put it on the truck to see it where the feet go. And I may end up having to loosen these bolts, these up a tiny, tiny bit to get this to move and move a little bit easier because of it may be a little tight. But it doesn't look like it's that bad of a deal. This is the pin to unlock and lock it. You pull that out, you raise it up, and it locks over to the thing. There's plenty of videos on Westerns and other people to show you how to hook it up. I like this connector cover. I wish they had a cover like this that you could mount on your truck, that you can put the ends in, but there's not. It's just caps or the cap on it, and they're real hard to get on. I'll figure something out, I think. Still got to align the headlights up and turn them on. Hopefully that all works. It should work. It's just like I said, plug and play. If not, you just flip those connectors around and to get them to work, and you should be good to go. Mossman talks about putting on, I think, the LED lights on. Like I said, I didn't opt for the LEDs. Maybe I'll regret it, but we'll see. I might upgrade, you never know, but we'll try these out. We'll see what they go with. They should be all right. I'm going to probably mount a light bar right across there, I'm thinking. And I'm thinking of that one over there. So mind my mess. Really want to get this cleaned up. So I got this light bar, and I'm thinking of mounting it like right here. Oops, sorry. That might help. Or get some brackets and mount it in between. So we'll see. Like I said, they're wired to a, excuse me, sorry, a wireless switch that I got. And they don't require any, just got to have 12 volts. And I'm pretty sure I can find 12 volts on there. If I have to, I'll run 12, come off of one of these wires in here and run 12 volts off of it. Fill plug, it does not come with a fill plug or cover. It's in the hardware. It comes with a cap like that, so you have to take it off. And what the instruction says on bleeding is to raise it, lower it, open and close, get fluid all into cylinders, and then top off fluid into here. They gave me a quart of fluid with it, so that was good. Hopefully it won't take, if I need any more, this stuff is expensive. It talks about using, this is what we're using up here, I'm assuming. Can you see it? So this is what they gave me. It talks about a Western oil, hydraulic oil, or the 8606, I think it is, the military uses in their hydraulic system for cold weather. Like I said, I still got to bend these cutter keys here and then put the cutter keys in on the bottom of the actuators. But I figured I'd wait until I get the truck up and get it up in the air so I can get to it a little easier. I'll put jack stands underneath each corner to keep it from falling off me, make people safety. But like I said, I put it together using common hand tools. Didn't have any, didn't have any special tools, pry bars. I used those Craftsman impact and drills, just common hand tools. And it worked just fine. So I still got the back drag to put on, but I figured I could do that with, I raise it up. I wasn't going to fuck with it, or I'm sorry, apologize. I wasn't going to mess with it too much with it moving around, because I think it would have been a whole lot worse. So I figured I would put it on after I get it up, get it raised up and everything else. So let me go and pick up some of my stuff here and put away, and we will get back with you when I come back from Napa and picking up those things I needed, RTV, and what else did I need? RTV, and yeah, I'll figure it out. So I'm liking it. I'm liking it. It is big. All right, I'm back. And everything's hooked up, cotter keyed, tightened. I haven't put the back drag on yet. But everything works. I've let it. Made adjustments. I think I've got everything adjusted right. We'll see. I had to loosen up that bolt right there on both sides to make that pivot. The other side's a little tight, but I think it'll wear in time. But everything's in there. It's all adjusted right. You can see everything in there. The lights all work. Had no issues with that, like I said. And everything looks good. This is sitting on the truck. I'm going to probably crank the keys in a little bit just to give it a little bit more stiffness, or get the Sumo. But right now it kind of looks setting a little low because of the way the garage is sloped. But I haven't drove with it yet. I got to go to town. One of the roll pins for these is too small. And you remember I said you got to be careful or you'll smack yourself. Well, I did it. Let me see if I can sweep around. I've been laying on the ground, so you can see right there, smack my lip. I'm going to have a fat lip. But other than that, a few curse words. But it looks good. It operates good. I like it. And it turned out to be a pretty nice day, so I was able to keep the garage door open a little longer than I expected. Here's my four-wheeler. So, like I said, I'm going to go get one of those roll pins. And then when I get back, I'm going to try to push some of that back up there, and try to see if I can push some of that up there. And then we'll see how she goes. So I will come back. Like I said, there she is in all her glory. Been a pretty good truck. If you're looking for a decent truck in good shape, you can find one in good shape. These Chevy Classics, they call them. The 6.0, this has got the 6.0 liter gasoline motor in it. It does really, really well. Fuel mileage sucks, but other than that, it does pretty good. Like I said, I went to Napa earlier, grabbed some clips for the plastic. I got to trim the valance, put that back up on there, but that's easy to do. The adapter that goes into the mount on the truck, certainly can't drive around with them. They set really low, and you'll hit a curb very easily if you're not paying attention. But here she is working. I haven't finished routing the cable in the cab, but there's the controller. There's in float. Up. Wait, I got to get grease too. I got to get a high pressure grease adapter to grease everything. There's that. You can see it. Track. It goes into scoop. The right actuator is a little slow. I don't know if it just needs to be broke in or it's just the way the system is. I did have to top off the system. I bled it. It took about a quart, and it sits right at the below of the fill port. I was having a hard time. I didn't have a funnel, so I just poured it down the center cap. But other than that, it's a beast. Let's see, we don't want it. Like I said, I got to get some grease. There is grease fittings. There's one there. So there's one right there on that pivot point. I don't know if you can see it right there. And there's one on the other side. And then I got to get a high pressure grease fitting and find my grease. Oh, there's my grease gun. And then grease these up. So I'm going to head back to town and grab that stuff because I forgot it, and then I should be done. I'm tired, I'm sore, my body hurts. I only have to work a half a day tomorrow, so it makes it good. I haven't done the headlights yet, but I will. But I'll eventually get it. Here, let me get in the cab of the truck and let you look at it as you're sitting in the driver's view. So I'm going to mount the mount thing right here. I think I'm going to mount it right here if I can. And that way I can just reach up and get it. Oop, there you go. It's a little getting used to. Sorry about that. I'm trying to. So, the wing buttons on the wings, you push it once, it extracts or extends. You push it again, it goes through. So one push, it'll extend, one push will retract. So if you extending it and you stop, you have to do one of those things. I do have a high amp alternator, but I may have to invest in a dual battery setup because it looks like it is taking a lot off the battery. So I'll probably get a dual battery set up eventually. We'll see how this works. Like I said, I'm not plowing for commercial purposes and all that, so I think it'll be all right. I text the wife and let her know not to park in the garage. She should be getting home here shortly, so I'll let you go, and I'll finish up this video or come back while I'm plowing.